Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Berry Park. As the ball's hit into center field, Charlie Chan making the defensive play for Eastland. This is Eastland taking on Pine Hill in the finals of the losers bracket. Westland, the undefeated team. That was Anthony Massano who lined out to the center fielder. This is Jensel Pimentel, who was the pitcher for Pine Hill. Pine Hill won the toss and opted to be the visitors. Both these teams lost to Westland. Eastland drew a bye and lost to Westland in the finals of the winners bracket. Bright blue skies, very, very hot in this heat wave. Tucked away and the pitch was in for a strike. And it's ball four, so Pimentel is the first base runner. This is Jacob Morin, the first baseman. Danny Chow is the pitcher on the mound for East Lynn. Down the way for a ball. Hits it into center field for a base hit. So after an out, a walk and a base hit puts 2 on for Pine Hill. And Aaron Brailsford, I should say. Aaron Brailsford, the third baseman, will be the hitter. That one goes to the backstop, and the runners will move up. So Pine Hill with a golden opportunity to take the lead here in the top of the first. And off the catcher, the run scores. So just like that, Pine Hill's on top and have a runner at third. It bounced off the catcher just enough for Pimentel to score the run. And Jacob Morin, because there's 2 of them, the other one is Caleb, get to third base. They get the bunt down. They tag the runner coming home. Nice play by the catcher. He looked like he was going to make the play at first, and he tagged the runner coming home. So it saves Eastland a run. Very nice play by the catcher, Prandis. So now it's a runner at first with 2 outs for Jeremiah Lara, the catcher. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. Jeez, that pitch was way over his head. Wide for a ball. Hit fall out of play. Swing and a miss for strike three. So Chow got out of it fairly easy. Second and third went out. They only get the one run off the very nice defensive play by Prandis, tagging the runner out on the bunt. But Pine Hill jumps on top, getting the run in the top of the first. The walk, as it usually does, hurts. The walk came around to score. We'll move into the top of the first, and Eastland will try to at least get the run back. This term has been pushed around with the weather. They played their first game on the 22nd. They played their second game on the 28th. Rain out, thunderstorm. This game was supposed to be played, this being Saturday morning, this game was supposed to be played this afternoon at 5:30, but there's threats of another storm coming up, so they moved the game to 10 o'clock here. Mark Posty, the second baseman, will lead off for East Lynn. I go back to when there was 6 Little Leagues in the city, and the Lynn City tournament was huge. Now there's only 4 leagues, and one of them, Wyoma, for whatever reason, does not want to play. Safe, a nice bunt by Posty for a base hit. Pimentel made a good try, got to it, made a good strong throw, but Posty just got there before the throw. So he's at first base with nobody out, with Juan Vasquez, the shortstop. So for some reason, and I think it's a shame because whoever's making the decisions at Wyoma, they're hurting the kids, because it would be nice for the kids from Wyoma to play in this game, and they usually have very good teams. They could win it. They could be city champions, and that's something you don't forget. They called him out at second base. I don't know if he came off the bag. Umpire came. There's only one umpire. He came out a few steps in front of home plate, took a look, and they called him out. High and tight for a ball. So now it's 1 out and nobody on for East Lynn. But again, it's a shame, because it would be a big deal for the kids. They threw the ball. A good thing they didn't throw it with a lot of gusto. The left fielder, Caleb Morin, threw the ball back, and it hit the shortstop, Vasquez, on the head. Thank God it wasn't a bullet. Hit the shortstop, Corona, excuse me. In for a strike. So hopefully the Wyoma people will get together and understand that they're hurting the kids more than anything else. The kids would love to be playing in this tournament. Hopefully they'll understand that and come back in. This is Amari Quintana. I heckled his father, saying, "What are you doing? What's Quintana doing playing in East Lynn?" The Quintanas were outstanding athletes at Lynn Classical. Hit foul, out of play. This young man, he's a big boy. He's only 11 years old. Line shot into right field for a base hit. Around second, heading for third. Off the catcher, the one will go to second base. Now they gave me Juan Vasquez, number 2, the shortstop, hitting second. But the runner at third base is not Vasquez. It's number 7, and I don't have a number 7 for East Lynn. In for a strike. This is Isis Rodriguez. Hit off the pitcher to second base. The throw drew the first baseman off the bag. So Vasquez scores the run. Ties the game up. Quintana moves over to third on the error. That was a shot off the pitcher, deflected to the second baseman. They made the play, but The throw drew the first baseman off the bag. The runner was safe. Vasquez scored the run to tie it up. And with one out, they have first and third. Hit into left field for a base hit. So Eastland has the hitting shoes on. That was Prandis, the catcher, getting the base hit for the RBI. Runs at first and second for Blake Beaupre, the right fielder. Swing and a miss. The runner takes off for third. He's in. The throw was to the coach's box side of third base. So it's second and third as the ball is fouled off the catcher. What a play by the third baseman. Aaron Belsford reached up. That line shot by Danny Chow. Terrific. That's an ESPN highlight. He went up over his head and picked that. That's going to be a base hit. Down the line, going to be 2 runs, extra bases. Instead, it's the third out of the inning. So that play by Brailsford at third helps Pine Hill get out of it rather cheaply. Eastland got 2 after Westland got 1, and that's after Eastland got 1. So that's where we are at the end of 1 inning. Eastland 2, Pine Hill 1. We'll start the second inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Pine Hill, who had a 1-0 lead. Eastland topped that, doubled up, got 2 in the inning. That's where we are, 2-1. Eastland as we start the second inning. Swing and a miss. This is Bobby Corona, the shortstop. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Braves are going to win this game. I usually don't do that, but I can get away with it here because Pine Hill is the Braves and East Lynn is the Braves. High and tight for a ball. Down and away for a ball. Call, third strike. He ducked away from the pitch, but was in for a strike. Two straight strikeouts. One to end the first, one to start the second for Danny Chow. This is Caleb Morin, the left fielder. Not a very big strike zone here. Hits it to the second baseman. And they throw it away. So Morin reaches on the error. And the tying runners at first base for Luke Hannaberry. In for a strike. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. And that's strike 3. Those 2 strikeouts in the inning, both strikeouts, 1 call, 1 swinging. Max Bourgeois. Looked like he was going to try and bunt, took the pitch way wide for a ball. Way up in the air. Nice job by Prandis to stop that from going to the backstop. In for a strike. In for a strike again. Payoff pitch coming up. Top of the order, Anthony Maisano on deck. And that's strike 3. So Charles strikes out the side. The only base runner was the error. Last 4 outs have been strikeouts. Pine Hill is down in the top of the second. And East Lynn will have 8, 9, and 10. And again, I should mention the new rule they put in. I believe it's this year. I don't think it was last year. I think this year was the first year. Everybody on the bench hits. So you have 12 players on the bench, 12 players hit. I don't know who came up with that idea. It's actually, I suppose they said we want everybody to play, but it's a little bit of a detriment for the offensive team because some of the better hitters, the hitters 1, 2, 3, and 4, won't get up as many times in the game when you're batting 12 as when you're batting 9. So Gensel Pimento will start his second inning of work. Jay Chun, the left fielder, leads it off. In for a strike, quickly 0-2. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Pimentel. Starts the second inning. Manny Soto was one of the extra hitters. One of the 12 that hit. In for a strike. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. That one missed. One ball, two strikes. Swung on and missed. They throw him out at first base. Nice stretch by the first baseman, Jacob Morin, to get that high throw from the catcher, Prandis. Or excuse me, Lara. So they get the strikeout. Javier Figueroa. Or Figueroa is the hitter. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. Strike three called. So Pimentel says to his counterpart, Danny Chow, pitching for East Lynn, if you can strike out the side, I can strike out the side. They both strike out the side in the second. So it's still East Lynn 2, Pine Hill 1 going into the third inning. Top of the order for Pine Hill as we start the third inning. Pine Hill, the visitors, they won the toss and elected to be the visitors. I remember Jackie Bartlett was the softball coach in English. He did that forever. He would win the toss. He thought it was better to get up first and maybe jump on top, put pressure on the other team. First outside, second one up and in, 2-0 on Anthony Masano, the second baseman who started the game. He drilled a line shot right at the center fielder. Hit it well, but he hit it right at Charlie Chan. In for a strike. Take it all the way with the count 3-0. And that's ball four. So Mesano gets a leadoff walk. Second walk given up. Hit in the air, bounces in front of the right fielder. Hustling around to third is Mesano. So Pimentel, the pitcher, helps himself with a base hit. And just like that, Pine Hill has first and third with nobody out. Jacob Moore got a base hit, his first at bat, and he was the one that was tagged out on that very nice play. And they're going to walk him intentionally. So the bases are loaded for Aaron Brailsford. So they don't let Morin hit. In for a strike. So 3 on, nobody out. Hit the shot. They get the play at the plate. Nice job by Vasquez, the shortstop, to Prandis. So the bases are loaded still, but now there's 1 out. Nice play by Vasquez. Good throw. Nice play by Prandis, the catcher. That one goes to the backstop. And now they throw it away. And they tag him out at the plate. He started to come and stopped when Prandis did a nice job going to get the ball. And when Prandis threw it, he threw it away from the pitcher. It went to the Pine Hills dugout. And then Pimentel tried to score, and they throw him out. So now there's 2 outs in second and third. Jeremiah Lara struck out swinging his first trip. In for a strike. Nice job by Prandis to go high in the air to get that one ticketed for the backstop. Hit to third off the third baseman. The run's going to score. That'll tie it up. Looked like they were going to get out of the inning. Ground ball forced at third base. They're out of the inning. And it just mishandled. The run scores. It extends the inning. Hard to score when the ball that goes by the catcher because that backstop usually brings the ball back somewhere near home plate. It's not the fence that stops it and would keep it well behind home plate. It's the part of the press box, and anything there hits it and it bounces back. Bobby Corona, the shortstop, was called out on strikes. In for a strike. Nice stop by Prandis again. He's doing a good job behind the plate. And that's ball 4. Third walk of the inning. Caleb Morin, the left fielder, reached on an error. His one trip. Swing and a miss. He's the seventh hitter in the inning, but they only have one run. High over the head of Morin. Again, not a very big strike zone. That pitch was way over his head. Chow got a lot of help on that pitch. He couldn't reach that. He needed another bat to extend to be able to reach that pitch. Swing and a miss. So the strikeout ends the inning. And Eastland going to the bench is going to have a little bit of a sigh of relief, considering what it could have been. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 runners out at the plate. And they would have got out of the inning, but the infield error extended the inning, and Pine Hill tied it up. So Chow has struck out 5. He's walked 4. 2 of the walks have scored the runs to tie the game. We'll move into the bottom half of the third. It'll be 11 and 12, and you heard me correctly. 11 and 12 because Eastland has 12 players. All 12 have to hit. Pine Hill only has 9. They played the game here yesterday. West Lynn, in the finals of the winners bracket, defeated Eastland, scoring a run in the bottom of the 6th to win the game 4-3. West Lynn played with 8 players. And then I guess they had some little bit of commotion, like 11 o'clock last night, wondering why the game wasn't forfeited, because Little League tournament, the game would be forfeited. Lynn rules, the league in the city, you can play with 8. The teams got together and agreed that West Lynn could play with 8 players. And then for some reason, Eastland, like 11 o'clock last night, wanted to challenge the rulings. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can agree to play the game and then try to get it reversed after you play the game. But it shows the degree of Little League slipping in the city of Lynn. Wyoming never had to move out of Wyoming to play games. They played a full schedule among themselves. They had 4, 5, 6 teams. Charlie Chan, the center fielder, chased that high pitch, leading off the bottom of the 3rd. Quickly 0-2. Even East Lynn had several teams. West Lynn had a few. We'll go back to when there were 6 leagues in the city. Call, 3rd strike. Four straight strikeouts, 3 to end in the 3rd inning, 1 to start the in the 2nd inning, 1 to start the bottom of the 3rd. That one goes to the backstop. Julian Alani, one of the extra hitters. Low for a ball. So Whistling is sitting on the wayside waiting to see who wins this game. Whoever wins this will have to beat Whistling twice. And I'm sure Whistling is out making phone calls trying to make sure they have 9 players. So there won't be any controversy at all. Swung on and missed. Hit foul. Another strikeout. 5 in a row. Struck out by Pimentel. 6 all told. Wide for a ball. Mark Posey laid down a perfect bunt for a base hit. Down and away for a ball. He laid down the perfect bunt, and it was thrown out trying to steal second base. Up and away for a ball. In for a strike. Hit in the left field for a base hit. Posey's got his second hit. High and tight for a ball. Juan Vasquez singled and came around to score the first run in the first inning. Chase, that pitch was high. They like that high pitch. Popped up. Shortstop Bobby Corona makes the play, so the base hit doesn't do any damage. We've completed 3 innings. Nothing to choose between these two teams. Eastland 2, Pine Hill 2 going into the 4th. 8-9-1 for Pine Hill as we start the top of the 4th inning in a 2-2 game. Very difficult for the pitch right there. Like today, it's extremely warm, hot. But the person I feel most for are the 2 catchers. Jeremiah Lara for Pine Hill and Ansel Prandis for East Lynn, wearing all that equipment. Off-speed pitch is in for a strike. Chase the pitch up and away for strike 3. Strikeout to end the 3rd, strikeout to start the 4th. Max Bourgeois, the right fielder, struck out swinging. Or Burgess. I'll say it both ways, hope I get it right once. High and tight Quickly 2-0. Top of the order, Anthony Mesano on deck. Backs away, the pitch is in for a strike. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of a breeze. He gets the bunt down. Beats it for a base hit. Just hugged the third baseline. Picked it up, good strong throw, but beat it for a base hit. Anthony Mesano, the second baseman, hit a shot to center field right at the center fielder Chan. He walked us last time. And this is not a very big strike zone either. In for a strike. Down and away for a ball. In for a strike. So what was his 2-1? I think it's now they make it 2-2. High. Big pitch coming up. Payoff pitch up and coming. And it's ball 4. He draws his second walk. So last time it was first and second. Genso Pimentel, his last time, he's walked and scored and singled. Hits it foul, out of play. Down those wooded tree area behind first base. That ball's long gone. Swing and a miss. Quickly it's 0-2. Hit foul back and out of play. The 0-2 pitch up and coming again. Solid shot into right field for a base hit. The run will score. Pimentel gets his second hit, gets an RBI, and breaks the tie. Mesano scoots over to third. Pimentel on the throw back goes to second, so it's second and third. And last time they walked Morin, and Morin is not happy. They're going to walk him again intentionally. They're not going to pitch to him. They walked him intensely last time to load the bases, and he came around to score the run to tie the game up. Quintana was going to be the new pitcher, and Pimentel will go to first base. So Quintana was in little 11-year-old. He's a big boy for 11 years old, but he's in a tough situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. It started with a quick strikeout, but then a hit, a walk, a hit, and a walk. Have enabled Pine Hill to break the tie, take a 3-2 lead, and they got the bases loaded and 1 out. In for a strike. This is Aaron Brailsford. He made that very outstanding defensive play, ending the first inning that took 2 runs away from Eastland. Going into left field, it would have been extra bases, 2 runs, And we might still be playing the first inning. He made a great play at third base, picking that line drive over his head. In for a strike. And that was strike 3. So Quintana gets the second out of the inning. Jeremiah Lara struck out, reached on an error, and his error brought in the run to tie the game. His infield ground ball that was bobbled allowed the run from third to score. Popped up. Third baseman, shortstop all come together. And it's the third baseman, Rodriguez, taking the pop-up away from the shortstop for the third out. So again, Eastland gets out of it fairly easily with the bases loaded, 1 out, and a run in. A strikeout and a pop-up gets them out of the inning. So Pine Hill managed to break the tie, but they only get the 1 run. We'll move into the bottom half of the 4th inning. Pine Hill now leads it 3-2 over East Lynn. And again, we'll mention one of these two teams is going to get a second shot at West Lynn. Both these teams lost to West Lynn. Pine Hill lost to West Lynn in the first game of the tournament. East Lynn, if you talk to East Lynn, they lost controversially because they agreed to play the game with West Lynn having only 8 players because that's a city rule. Little League rules, it would be a forfeit. But they agreed to play the game, and then they wanted to reverse that decision later on, but it wasn't reversed. So Westland beat Eastland with 8 players. So one of these two teams will get another shot at Westland, but now they'll have to beat them twice to win the championship. So Westland in a pretty good spot. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 for East Lynn. Amari Quintana, who's now the pitcher, he was the first baseman, will lead off. He got a base hit and scored one of the runs in the first inning. We almost had the same situation here for Pine Hill. They were waiting for a player to show up. And it gave them, as he showed up, it gave him 9. And it looks as though Anthony Massano was going to be the new pitcher. High and tight for a ball. Pimentel is the new shortstop. Swing and a miss by Quintana. Hit in the left field for a base hit. Quintana's got his second hit, leading the fourth inning. Goes to the backstop. He'll move up. Hit to left field. Bending down, kneeling down. Caleb Moran made the one-handed catch. He stuck the glove up and he said, "Oh, there's the ball." Almost kneeling down, made the catch for the first out off Rodriguez. This is Jansel Prandis. He got a base hit, knocked in the second run back in the first inning. Pimentel, the pitcher, had retired 7 in a row. Prandis, the hitter's done a nice job behind the plate. That one bounced into home plate. Waved at that pitch, way out in front of that pitch. Called third strike. Looked like he was starting to go to first base, and the umpire said strike 3. So Pimentel went 3 innings. He struck out 6, didn't walk a batter. Gave up 5 hits to 2 runs. 1 was earned. Actually, 2 were earned. The run would have scored anyway. There was an error on the throw to first base. Wouldn't have been the third out. The run would have scored anyway. Off the catcher's glove. Quintana hustles to third. So the tying run 60 feet away with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Blake Beaupre, the right fielder, struck out his 1 trip. Nice stop by Lara, the catcher. He's done a nice job behind the plate, too. Up and away for ball 4. First walk given up by Pine Hill pitching. Puts runners at first and third for Danny Chow. He's the one that hit a line shot that the third baseman, Brailsford, went over his head and picked it. At the time, there were runners at second and third and 2 outs. It would have been at least a double, maybe more. Would have been at least 2 runs. They throw it away, and Quintana is going to score. They got a little lackadaisical throwing it back to the pitcher. They threw it away. Quintana hustled in and scored. And we got a tie game. Shot into right center field for a base hit. 1 runner is going to score. Chow helps himself with a double. So the errant throw back to the pitcher, and now it's doubled by Chow. And all of a sudden it's 4-3. They throw it away. The runner's going to try and score. And he does. Thrown away at the plate. 2 errors on the play. We'll give him a stolen base at third. And all of a sudden, Eastland has the biggest lead of the day, 2 runs. 1 run has been the cushion for both teams. High for a ball. I'm not sure why they took the pitcher Pimentel out. He retired 7 in a row, 5 of them strikeouts through 3 innings. That one, he has to duck under that one. Here's Jay Chun, the left fielder. In for a strike. So they get the second strikeout, but the damage is done. Again, a walk hurts. The walk comes around the score. 2 errors in the inning. Eastland puts 3 runs on the board, and Eastland now leads in the game 5-3 over Pine Hill going into the 5th inning. 6, 7, and 8 for Pine Hill as we start the 5th inning. They now find themselves behind by a couple. Couple of big errors in the inning along with a walk. A big double by Danny Chow. Quintana got it started with a base hit. Did a nice job running the bases and scoring the run that tied it. That one goes behind him to the backstop. Swing and a miss. Popped up, it's going to go out of play. Behind home plate. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. The count goes full. And that misses for ball 4. So Corona, the shortstop, draws his second walk, leading off the 5th inning. Caleb Moore, who made that nice play in left field, kneeling down and catching the line short, is the hitter. He reached on an error and struck out swinging. Slices it to second. They get the force at second. Posty, the second baseman, to the shortstop, Vasquez. So still a run at first, but now with 1 out. Popped up. Nice diving catch at first base by Pimentel. Excuse me, by Danny Chow. Two-way, the ball's foul. High for a ball. High again for a ball. Top of the order, Anthony Mesano on deck. Way up and in again. In for a strike. And we got a payoff pitch coming up once again. Chase that pitch. It was down in the dirt. He's able to run even with the runner at first. Now they throw the ball away. The runner will go to third. Normally you can't run with the runner at first, but with 2 outs you can. So Quintana gets the strikeout. But Borges reaches. And Pine Hill has the tag runs on base. First and third for Anthony Mesano. Mesano lined out to the center fielder, walked his last 2 times. He's now the pitcher. Missing inside for a ball. In for a strike. High for a ball. Hit foul back behind home plate, out of play. Low for ball 4. Mesano draws his 3rd walk. And once again, for the 3rd time in the game, Pine Hill have the bases loaded. Cecil Pimento can certainly help himself here. He was the pitcher of record. Now they throw the ball around a little bit, but nobody's going anywhere. Pimento walked and scored, singled in a run. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. He's 2/3 of the offense. In for a strike. Hit to short. Nice play by Vasquez. He'll make the unassisted play. So Pimento hit it right on the nose. But Pine Hill leaves the bases loaded. walk, 2 walks and a strikeout that reached. They're 3 outs away from being eliminated. I'm not sure what the question is. Coaches are out discussing something. I don't know what they could be discussing. They're talking to the umpire about something. I have no idea, and I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to what they're discussing and what Pine Hill is questioning. I mean, they had the bases loaded. They hit the ball short. They made the tag at second base for the 3rd out. And that should have been all she wrote. Whatever it is, they've decided it because Pine Hill's coming out in the field. They're 3 outs away from being eliminated. And East Lynn is 3 outs away from getting a second shot at West Lynn. It'll be 8, 9, and 10 for East Lynn in the bottom of the 5th inning. Machado will start his 2nd inning. He gave up the 3 runs in the 4th. Not really his fault. There was an error. One of those errors that give coaches gray hair. Catcher throwing it back to the pitcher. It got thrown away, and the runner from 3rd scored at the time to tie the game up. But then a walk and a double. And another error. The runner from 2nd stealing 3rd. The ball got deflected onto the grass in the outfield. The shortstop picked it up. The runner kept going to try and score. And when they threw the ball home, they threw it away. And the run scored. To give Easton a little bit of insurance to make it a 2-run cushion. And that's where we are as we start the bottom of the 5th. Manny Soto will be the first hitter. I don't know if the umpire lost his brush. He was reaching in his bag to get a brush to wipe the plate off. Couldn't find it, so he used his foot to clear off the plate.
So somebody grabbed a flex ball by mistake. That's what happened. One of those flex T-balls. Somebody came out with the dugout and there was a flex T-ball during the game. I did not notice it's a soft flex T-ball. I don't know where they got it from. Came out of somebody's practice bucket.
They came out and told us that the question was one of the balls somehow got in the game was one of the flex practice balls. Somehow got in the game. Swing and a miss. So Manny Soto has struck out his 1 trip. Swing and a miss. And again, when you bat 12, this is what happens. This is strike 3. You bat 12. The 9th hitter for Pine Hill has batted 3 times. This is the 2nd time up for the 9th hitter for East Lynn because they bat 12. Missing wide, the count goes 1-1. Javier Figueroa called out on strikes his one trip. That was part of those 5 strikeouts in a row by Pimentel before they changed pitches. And I still don't know why they did that. It wasn't a pitch count, I don't think. They brought Misano in. Could have got out of the inning, giving up no more than 1 run. Out in front of the plate, they're not going to get him. Little Baltimore chop, almost like a bunt. Figueroa gets the hit. Charlie Chan, the center fielder, will be the hitter. Just a little tap out in front of the plate that died. And by the time everybody got to it, they had no play at first base. Hit to third. They get the force at second. Nice play by Brailsford, another defensive play. So 2 outs. And I missed it how they got the third out. I don't know if somebody stepped off the bag and they tagged him. But there's 3 outs. I had 2 going in. You have to pay attention all the time, I guess. I don't know if they threw the ball away, it went off. They chased it down the first base line. I guess they threw it over and tagged the guy before we got back to first base for the third out. So we finished 5. If Eastland can get 3 outs here without Pine Hill scoring 2, Eastland will move on to the championship final. They'll have to beat Westland twice, but they'll get there. And Quintana will take the mound with a 5-3 lead going into the 6th inning. So here we go in the 6th inning. Jacob Morin, he's been the most frustrated player in the field today. He got a base hit and scored a run in the 1st inning. They haven't pitched to him since. They walked him intentionally the last 2 times. And the first time they walked him intentionally, he scored a run to tie the game up at 2. So he'll lead it off in the 6th. Pine Hill needs 2 to stay alive. And Charlie Chan will be the new pitcher. Quintana goes back to first base. And Carroll, the shortstop, will play his 3rd position. He goes to center field. Swing and a miss. So Chan will try to shut it down and get Quintana the win. Hit in the air. And the center fielder who just moved to center field. So the first out is a fly to center field. In first strike. Aaron Brailsford made a couple of nice defensive plays. One great defensive play. He's reached twice on fielder's choice. Last time he struck out being called out. Down and away for a ball. Nice play by Charlie Chan. The pitcher got to it and threw him out. The bunt got down. It's a very nice defensive play. And Pine Hill is down to their last out. Jeremiah Lara was done a nice job behind the plate. Struck out, reached on an error, and popped to third base. That was when the third baseman and shortstop almost collided. The third baseman took it away from the shortstop. Hit in the air, foul. Out in front, just enough to pull it foul. So East Lynn 1 out away from a second matchup in the city final. They need a base runner to bring the tying run to home plate. Hit to third. Nice play by the third baseman, Rodriguez. The first 1-2-3 inning of the game is the sixth inning, and it eliminates Pine Hill as East Lynn will win it 5-3. They'll go to 1-1 in the tournament. Pine Hill ends up 0-2, and it'll be East Lynn taking on West Lynn. Shades of 1951, the first year of Little League. In the final, East Lynn will have to beat West Lynn twice, but they're happy that they get the opportunity. Pine Hill took a lead in the first inning. Pimentel walked, went to second on Moran's base hit, scored on 2 wild pitches. It was 1-0. East Lynn got him right back in the first inning. After an out, Vasquez got a base hit. Quintana singles him to third. First and third, an infield error allowed the run to score from third. An RBI single by Prandis, the catcher, made it 2-1. Pine Hill tied it in the third. With the bases loaded, nobody out, looked like East Lynn might get out of it with 2 outs, 2 forced at the plate, or forced at the plate and thrown out at the plate. But then an infield error scored the run to tie it at 2. East Lynn got a run, a walk, an RBI single by Pimentel. Bourgeois got a base hit, a walk, put him to second base, a base hit by Pimentel, knocked in a run to give Pine Hill their last lead at 3-2. And at the bottom of the fourth inning, East Lynn got all they needed, scoring 3 runs. Quintana got a base hit, went to second and third on wild pitches, scored when the throw from the catcher got away from the pitcher, and he scored from third base. And then 2 quick outs. Looked like it was going to be a 3-3 game at the end of 4. But then a big 2-out walk to Beaupre. A big double by Danny Chow scored the run. He stole second. Stealing third, the ball got thrown away. He was on his way home. The throw to the plate beat him, but it went off the catcher's glove wide. The run scored to make it 5-3, and that was the final score as East Lynn retired Pine Hill 1-2-3 for the only 1-2-3 inning of the game in the 6th. For Pine Hill, Massano had 3 walks. Pimentel had a walk, 2 hits, scored a run, knocked in a run. Moran had a base hit, 2 walks, scored a run. Brailsford made 2 outstanding defensive plays and was on base twice. Bobby Corona drew 2 walks. Caleb Moran made a nice play in left field, was on base twice. Max Bourgeois had a base hit, scored a run, was on base twice. For East Lynn, Posty had 2 base hits. Juan Vasquez had a base hit, scored a run. Amari Quintana got the win on the mound. He got 2 base hits, scored 2 runs. Isaiah Rodriguez reached on an error. Ansel Prandis did a great job behind the plate, had an RBI single. Blake Beaupre drew a walk, scored a run. Danny Chow had an RBI double, scored a run. Javier Figueroa had a base hit, and that was it for the offense for both teams. And a big 3-run 4th inning helped out by a couple of errors got 3 runs to make the difference in the game, and East Lynn gets their first win of the tournament. They defeat Pine Hill by a score of 5-3. East Lynn will go to 1-1. Pine Hill ends up 0-2, and West Lynn and East Lynn will bang heads actually tomorrow back here at Barry, and East Lynn will have to beat West Lynn twice, but they're grateful that they get the opportunity. So it'll be East Lynn and West Lynn, the 2 original Little League teams back in '51, battling for the 2023 Lynn City Championships. So 5-3, a big 3-run 4th inning does it for East Lynn. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.